I don't even know how to describe him actually. But we've got an entrepreneur in the building first and foremost. He's a co-founder of something called Capital Moments. And if you haven't heard of Capital Moments, number one, where have you been? Number two, you should check them out online on Twitter right now. They're keeping you up to date with all the world events. And right now they're releasing a brand new ebook. Hello, Lekan.
What you saying, man? Thank you all for having me on the show.
No problem, no problem. So first of all, tell me where this name Capital Moments came about, and how did it actually start?
Yeah, Capital Moments. I've been running for a couple of years now. So it's myself, a collective of 4 or 5 other guys. Myself, Josh, Demi, Tom, and another guy called Ade.
Yeah.
Essentially, myself and Josh, we used to actually write our own kind of personal blogs under our own monikers. My blog was called Lekonomics. He had another one called Josh Wright.
Yep.
And then a mutual friend of ours called Demi started his own blog inspired by us.
Yep.
Josh came up with an idea to say, why don't we all move under one umbrella? I had a little think of a name. So you guys are probably aware of Financial Times.
Mm-hmm.
So then I took kind of Financial Times and I looked at Capital Moments. So what's kind of a capital thing that happens in your life, right? Something that just changes your life, transforms you. And what are those moments, whether it be kind of a moment of getting your first mortgage, maybe marrying the love of your life, or just something transforming your life, right? And then put those two together, and that's how we came about Capital Moments. From there we've been moving, man. 2014 to now, it's been a couple of years of some good growth, so we're trying to push forward.
It's been good. I remember the first time I seen you on Twitter, actually. I actually thought you guys were a news agency. Like I was trying to find you guys on the TV. Like, you guys look so, well, not that I should have even doubted it, but you guys' Twitter is so professional.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we try to keep consistent. Obviously, we've got a number of different methods how we get things out there. So we've got our own website as well, where we've got young people, capital-moments.com. Where we've got young people, students, graduates, young professionals speaking about politics, finance, business, technology, or just general lifestyle issues, writing their views and stories. And obviously, we're quite active on the social media. Twitter, most dominantly, we've got around over 5,000 followers.
Soon grow, but follow that if you're not following it.
Yeah, follow that at Capital Moments. Capital Moments, S at the end. But yeah, so we just try to promote stuff, news that's happening, politics, business, finance. Quite active this year. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of kind of murmur in the political world. Britain's obviously voted to leave the European Union. We were active during that whole process, tweeting non-stop during the night, during the results. Obviously, another big thing's happened stateside, across the pond. Donald Trump's won the US election. Again, we were active with that.
Yep.
So it's all about getting the news out there to the young people in easily readable format, because you know, as we grow up, these young people nowadays, they've got short attention spans. What they want to do is watch another video, listen to this. So being able to distribute that news via a social media platform like Twitter is essential, right? And that's what we're trying to provide to the masses.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. Literally, I feel like, you know, when I saw you guys on Twitter, I just felt like you guys are definitely onto something. I feel like you guys need the newsroom or something. You guys should be the voice of the young people. But tell me about your new ebook. Like, tell me about this ebook you're putting out into the world full of knowledge.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously, once we started, we were always kind of providing this news, and we had a lot of people always come to us like, "Oh, can you help us with this application we're doing to this graduate role? Help us with this internship we're doing? Can you help us look at our CV, cover letters?" Obviously, we're helpful to give that advice, come out and just tell people what they should do, how they should go about it. But then we thought to ourselves, brainstorm, why don't we just write a guide or book to essentially encapsulate everything that someone needs to do to ensure they get a graduate job or get that internship. So myself and Josh put pen to paper, started writing down over like the past year or so, put it into a readable format in a guide again. And it kind of goes through the whole process of how you can apply to a graduate or internship role, whether it be from your CV being in the right format, your cover letter being in the right format, what type of sectors may suit you, whether you want to work in finance, law, engineering, media, whether that may be, kind of directing you towards that correct field. Trying to understand how much you might be paid if you go into those fields as well, because obviously money's important as well. And then moving forward to the actual application process, how you should answer certain questions, competency questions, going towards assessment centres as well. And then for those people that do get internships, how do they go about like correctly addressing people, how do they act appropriately and behave responsibly during those kind of internships, because in a lot of instances it's the first time a lot of young people will be working with senior figures.
Yeah.
They don't want to say things that align, they want to dress right, like don't come to work in a brown suit.
What's wrong with a brown suit, mate? Come on, man.
You got to pattern up correctly when you're in the right environments, right? So obviously just those general tips of advice, ending with as well, just telling people your first job or your first kind of graduate role or any kind of career you start is not kind of the end. You could still end up in another sector, another world, and just kind of giving that kind of those general tips of wisdom for those young people out there. But obviously the book's not free, just to let the masses know. It's going to be launched tonight, 8 o'clock on our website.
Exclusive, you heard it.
Exclusively, capital-moments.com /shop. It's available at $3.99. So yeah, it's easily downloadable. You just literally put in your details, bang in a payment, and you'll get an email with the downloadable link for the book itself. So yeah, that's the book in a nutshell.
Yeah, obviously $3.99 is not that much if you're gonna find yourself a 24, 25 graduate job. So
yeah, no, trust me, inflation's up there as well. So you might as well just grab it at that cheap price store.
So first of all, if we can delve into the actual book itself, what are we touching upon? So in the book, what are the sort of chapters that are actually in the ebook?
So we start off firstly just looking at the different sectors you can apply to and which ones might be suitable, right? So some people might think they want to work in investment banking. Some people think about working in law. Others maybe possibly want to work in engineering, in media, and trying to explore those fields, what type of skills it takes to kind of achieve those roles. Beyond that as well, trying to make sure you've got your CV in the correct format, so outlining how a good CV should look like, understanding what you should include, what you shouldn't include, because in some instances a lot of people try to include extra bits and bobs that's not really required. And then we go into cover letter as well. So obviously certain applications you do, some instances you're required to write a cover letter as well, kind of outlining why you want to apply to that role, why you want to work for that company. So going through that whole process as well. And then it goes on to other instances where you might have to do tests as well. For certain applications you have to do psychometric tests, numerical, verbal, logical. We go through that as well. And then we move on to the actual real grind of actually answering interview questions. So how do you answer a competency question? How do you kind of perform in telephone interviews? How do you go through that process? And then next off, typically there's other instances where you have to do an assessment centre. We go through that whole process. How do you present properly in assessment centres? How do you kind of analyse data and summarise things appropriately? How do you do that process and procedure right? And then we go on to kind of mostly the final stage where you're interviewed by the final person who's likely going to employ you, right? We go through that little section, delve into that a little bit more deeply. And then we move on to you actually getting the role. If you're successful, how do you prepare? Because obviously we're assuming a lot of us are all from London, right? But some people come to London to work. So just simple advice like making sure you understand how a travel card works and understand where you can live, your accommodation. Obviously, I touched upon not wearing the brown suit.
Again.
Making sure you dress right. That goes for both men and women. Obviously, not too kind of crazy or outrageous when you're in the office. The actual internship process for some other people who are doing internships. How you go about doing your tasks properly, going through the whole process and procedure. Making sure you impress the people that are kind of judging you during that internship to ensure you get that kind of graduate role at the end or get the job at the end of it. And then we move lastly on to kind of the last few stages. If you're successful in an internship, the successful person, what advice we give you. If you don't get it, then what kind of next steps are there for you to ensure you still have a kind of successful career ahead of you. And then just ending it with like advice for everyone in terms of the avenue that's open to you if you select a certain sector, what you can do in terms of professional qualifications within your chosen kind of field and realm. And then moving on to longer term steps in terms of you becoming kind of a senior leader or senior figure within your respectable sector, right? And trying to inspire the younger people that are coming after you. So that's kind of the book, in a nutshell. It's 93 pages.
93 pages?
Easily readable, yeah. It's a 93 pages, but it's worthwhile because it's in a mix of being a guide and a book. So we didn't want it to be too in-depth that it's just so jarring for you to read, but we wanted to still have some type of kind of context and depth to allow the reader to really understand what they need to do to be successful and obviously make the most of their life, right? Couple Moments, all we're about is helping the youth personally develop and reach their potential. and we're hoping this book does that. So yeah, as I said, www.capital-moments.com/shop. Make sure you look at that from 8 o'clock this evening.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna go into our first song of this little session right here. I'm gonna ask you a bit more questions about.
Yeah, keep going. What? Do I not get a selection on the music, man?
Do you want the aux cable? I can do you like that.
But
But right now, I kind of got a J. Cole band. So just as long as you're not playing no J. Cole, like
that's
you
calm,
can
man.
play
J. Cole's. I think J. Cole's past it, so we'll move.
J. Cole never had it, but there's the aux cable. You can hold that.
Aux
Nah, it's always good to have some J. Cole slander on the radio because he's a bit dead.
Why are you not feeling J. Cole at the
Man,
moment?
do you know what he does here? He gets on my nerves. The guy complains about stuff that we'd all be happy about. So, for example, the guy would rap, I just had sex with the woman of your dreams.
Wow.
Then I'm sitting at the edge of my bed and I'm wondering, does she really love me? Because I really love her. And he's just going on some left. Yeah,
I'm going to take over, though. I'm going to take over all. I'm going to just put a little banger on for them.
Alright, tell me when is it
Funds, Abracadabra. Obviously, you know what song it is.
Yeah, you're back. It's Olu, Ross, and Capital Moments. Lekan from Capital Moments.
Yep.
That was Abracadabra and Kojo Funds. Done talking. That's a banger, man.
Yeah, it's a banger out here.
Alright, let's mix it up. So basically, I've got some questions for you.
Yeah, calm, hit me.
Got some advice. I need some advice. I'm looking for a job in it. So
yeah, bro.
Alright, cool. I'm in the interview now.
Yeah.
And it's gone well. And the guy asked me if I have any questions. Do I have any questions for him or not?
Yeah, you always, every interview you go to, prepare. Make sure you always have questions for the interviewer. So what I'd do if I was in that situation, I'd actually try research on the person interviewing prior to the interview. So try and find out his name, try and research him on LinkedIn, on Google, find out what he's done recently in his career, because essentially everyone likes talking about themselves, right? So if you get to that beauty spot where you ask him that question and he just starts chatting for 5-10 minutes, just know you've got the job. So do that research online, even if it's a normal social thing about him, like what type of football team he supports, or anything kind of that might be into his personality, and then try and get a question that kind of goes down that line. So for example, if he's worked at that company for 5 years and he's moved up, be like, oh, so I understand you've worked here for 5 years, what have you done during that time? He'll be like, oh, rah, how this guy know I worked here for 5 years? Like those little small things, it really does help you in the interview process. So yeah, I definitely say researching your guy, asking questions is key, and try and develop the relationship from there.
When's the last time you applied for a job, Ross?
Oh, bro, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's interesting, man. I remember you were talking about assessment centres. I remember ages ago I did an assessment centre at Fidelity or something. I was trying to get finance credential. And it was just like, I didn't feel like, I did as much preparation as I could from what I could find online. But I didn't feel like there was anything kind of tailored to what I would actually be facing, like how, for me personally, I could kind of be my best at that. So what would your advice for someone that maybe doesn't know a lot about assessment centres or isn't from a background where they would kind of know anyone that's been to one?
Yeah, know anyone. I'd say again, research. So Wikijobs is a good one. Wikijobs typically, it shows you information about a particular company's assessment centre. And also be wise as well. Check LinkedIn. Check people that the job you're applying to that are kind of the level above you, or the level that you're applying to. So if you're, for example, applying to an analyst role, check people who are currently analysts at Fidelity and approach them online and say, look, I understand you're currently working in this role, so you probably went through the assessment centre. Someone that's applying to the role, I'd be really appreciative if you could just give me some pointers and tips of advice. Don't be scared to approach people and be confident to network. If you do that, it actually helps you in the long run, because if you do end up getting a job, you've already got someone that you know within the company. So even when people say, I don't know anyone that works there, you can still kind of go out yourself and reach out to them on any kind of social media platforms. Because in this day and age, you've got to really be happy towards the kind of connectivity we've got. Like 20, 30 years ago, people had to go to the local library and read about, if they wanted to apply to a banking role, read about what banking is. Nowadays, you can go on Wikipedia, you can go on LinkedIn, email someone, you go on Twitter, follow Capital Moments, and do all of that type of stuff. So I'd say definitely use the technology that's on hand.
So how do you think technology has actually helped the job hunting game?
I think it's transformed it completely, right? Because like essentially when you've got social media platforms like LinkedIn that essentially connect people in the professional world, then it's obviously helped people. Even simple things like YouTube, you can literally go on YouTube and watch a video about a particular sector and learn everything you can in some 5-10 minute videos. So technology has been immense in that respect, like how it's kind of transformed the way we get information, and it also kind of transmit information as well. Like you can nowadays, you don't even have to meet the person you're applying, like the job you're applying for. Like you can do an online application, you can then do a video conference call for the interview, and then you could work in another office and do the work. Like it's crazy how technology has transformed the world of work and also the job application process.
So I wanted to ask you, having heard about Capital Moments, what you guys do, it sounds really good. It'd be good to delve kind of a bit more into you and your background. So like, what were you doing before this, and what kind of inspired you to take the plunge and set this stuff up?
So me, essentially, so myself and all the other guys, we run Capital Moments as a social enterprise on the side. So we all work in the city in our respective fields. So I'm actually a consultant at KPMG at present. So I work, So Monday to Friday, I work in Canary Wharf or wherever the client site may be, and then on the side we run Capital Moments as social enterprise. So prior to that, I went to University of Birmingham, studied economics up in the Midlands. Before that, lived in East London. I went to college in Leighton. The reason Capital Moments came about is because I'd always been interested in economics, finance, used to write blogs about it. As I said, found some other similar guys with similar interests, and we thought, why don't we just run this together? Like, there's power in numbers, right? So we just started moving together as a collective, had a good brand name, and in certain instances, although it's good, I do see people moving under their own kind of personal moniker, their own name with their brands. It's good at times to have a separate brand to yourself or your name, because it helps move it forward. So us being able to separate Capital Moments under a new brand, it's definitely helped kind of the journey, and my journey as well in terms of the contribution.
So hearing you work at KPMG is really interesting. So how difficult is it for you to kind of manage this as a side hustle, and what advice would you give to people that want to set up something on the side?
Yeah. Let me not lie. It's definitely tough. Like, you've got to be in it for the right reasons. So me personally, I just love giving back, helping young people. Like, I've got younger brothers, sisters, cousins, etc., and helping them get to the next step. Because when you was in their position or in their space, you didn't have that assistance. So helping the next generation become the best they can be, that's like my inner passion. So if you get into something, like even with you guys doing this radio show, if you guys are passionate about it, then it will move forward, right? You've got to have that inner passion. But that's not to say it's still difficult, like terribly difficult. Like, obviously we're all growing within our careers, all work in different locations at times. So like this time last year, I had a project, I was in Paris. So I had to go to Paris every week, Monday to Thursday, Monday to Friday. So I'd go out Monday mornings, be in Paris, come back Friday evening, Thursday evening. So it was terribly difficult to balance my objectives and commitment to CM, to Capital Moments, as well as doing my day job. As well as that, another one on the team, Josh, he went out to New York for a few months in the summer for work as well. So obviously, again, it's difficult for him to balance his time. Another one of us, Demi, he's always traveling. Like, he's in Nigeria one week, he's in the States the next week. So unless the inner kind of passion is there, like if it's there within you, then you'll find time for it. Trust me. If it's at 2 a.m., if it's at 3 a.m., if it's at any time, you'll find time for it. But if it's not, you'll be like, it's long, I'm going to bed, or it's long, I don't want to do it right now. And that's where you see certain things crumble, or they don't stay consistent, because the inner passion is not there, especially in something like a social enterprise where you're not essentially tasting the peas, right? You're not tasting the money at the get-go, or even throughout the whole journey. So you have to be doing it for a reason beyond money or beyond like personal satisfaction or gratification. You've got to be doing it for more than that, and that's what we do it for essentially. So
you mentioned social enterprise. Like, break down what that means, because not a lot of people out there might be,
Yeah. Social enterprise, in a nutshell, is an enterprise, a business that is meant to have a social impact. It's meant to assist people in society, right? So, way in which Capital Moments does this is we're an enterprise that helps young people, right, reach their goals, reach their potential, learn about the world, the wider world around them, essentially to ensure they get that graduate job, ensure they get that internship role, ensure they understand how to get their first property, ensure they know how to pattern up their finances properly, because if they have a child and then they've got a job, how do they essentially move in that space? So we're all about people learning and developing, educating the millennial generation essentially.
Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting because I'm starting to see a lot of young people starting to gravitate towards building social enterprises, and I feel like it's a very beautiful thing, you know, for people to actually want to give back to whatever sector of communities their social enterprise hopes to serve. But I really feel that having a social enterprise, number one, is very commendable because first of all, you have to be an entrepreneur. Then secondly, you have to be a very charitable person because, for example, your social enterprise is not all about making money and putting food on your bacon or putting bacon on your just
put food on the table.
Yeah, all about putting food on the table. But yeah, no, I really do respect that. So what's next? Because I think we spoke about that on off air. But what's next for Capital Moments?
Yeah. Obviously, spoke off air a little bit. I told you we're kind of rounding up the year with the book. And early in the year we did a property event. As I spoke about, we did a property event in association with Barclays at the office in Canary Wharf, essentially helping young people, kind of recent graduates, young professionals, understanding how to get into the property sector on the property ladder, how to go about getting their mortgage, the whole process and procedure behind that, and also in addition investing in the property market. So if you want to get into the buy-to-let space, essentially buying a property so you can rent it out to tenants and kind of gain a little spread on top of the mortgage payments versus what you charge people for rent. Yeah, we did that. So essentially in 2017 we're trying to replicate that. So we want to do another event in regards to property, but also, as I spoke about, moving to the personal finance space. We think it's so key, especially for this generation. I touched upon because of kind of the whole world we're living in with social media and kind of the influence of that. Everyone thinks they need to make it right away. Everyone wants instant gratification. So you see a lot of young people, especially those in university, just coming out of university in debt or struggling to manage their finances. So we think it's so key for those young people to understand how to kind of really manage and move forward with their money. So we want to do a personal finance event. Again, have speakers come down, instruct people how to kind of structure their finances, how to divide their money into savings, day-to-day expenses, and also investment, whether that be in themselves, a business, or just educating themselves going forward. And then we also want to kind of translate that again into an ebook. So we want to release a personal finance ebook in similar format to our current graduate and interviews and internships guide, helping young people understand how to really respectfully construct their finances and know what to do with that. And obviously, again, build the platform that we've got currently. So get more blogs and articles under our umbrella on the website. Get more followers on our social media channels, whether that be Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, SoundCloud, and also move more into the space in terms of the radiography and media space, in terms of doing more videos. So early in the year, obviously, Brexit was a big thing I've touched upon already. We did a YouTube video kind of outlining the different impacts and effects of different areas, whether that be politics, property, finance. We did a little video on that, check that out on our YouTube page, Capital Moments on YouTube. We want to do more of that. I touched upon with Ross saying we kind of found it difficult to find a videographer in the past few years, but we're trying to get that in line so we can do more videos. We do understand, obviously, there's a lot of big things happening in the podcast space as well. So we're definitely kind of looking to get involved in that in terms of doing more podcasts to speak about those issues that I've touched upon.
I definitely feel like a Capital Moments voice would be a voice that's definitely well respected in the role of media. All right, you touched upon personal finance. This is also an area where I need some help. For example, let's just say you're a person who's just left uni. Yeah, you've been able to secure that graduate job because you bought Capital Moments.
Yeah,
ebook.
you bought an ebook. You got the big boy
you got that
now.
knowledge.
You're flossing. You're going shard and that.
Exactly.
No more Nando's.
Exactly. But I've still got overdraft from uni though, so I haven't really done anything. So what are the first steps once I've secured a graduate job and I have thoughts of getting onto the property ladder? What are sort of the tips you give to the guys out there in order to make that reality?
Yeah. First off, obviously you've got an overdraft, so you're a bit of a predicament. So I'd say focus first in terms of your saving towards clearing that overdraft. So if it was me personally, say for example say you're in a graduate role, you're getting maybe 1,500 in a month. I try to put some saving towards clearing that overdraft. Obviously, cover your expenses first. So you got to travel to work, right? Cover your travel to work. You got to eat as well. So cover your lunch expenses. Eat You don't know. He's right. He's right. Shout out to this.
Ooh, controversial figures still, but
obviously make sure you're including your expenses correctly. Cover your expenses, whether that be travel, food, shelter. If you're paying rent, if you're staying at home with your parents, maybe try and contribute in any way that you can, if need be, and then put the rest towards covering that overdraft, and then any kind of excess into your savings. And then beyond that, once the overdraft's cleared, obviously kind of plan up your income into kind of 4 or 5 categories. First off, again, your expenses, shelter, food, etc. And then into any additional bills you may have, maybe that be your phone bill. Obviously, if you've got that Netflix account, you're really out here. Also, try and cover off, put money towards savings, right? You want to save for the long term, whether that be your property, whether that be for a fun kind of holiday you're looking to in the short run.
What sort of percentage would you say you should save? Because I was reading this book called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah. My boy put me on that as well.
Have you read it?
Yeah, shout out Collins, he put me on that still.
Have you read it?
I haven't read that one.
You should read.
It's short stories about how to kind of manage your money, manage your finances. It's really, really good.
It's really, really good. So what sort of percentage would you say you should put towards this?
So it really depends on your situation, right?
Yeah.
So essentially you want to always focus on your expenses first in your show. But in some instances, some people living at home, for example, not paying any rent, they may only have to contribute maybe 20% of their income to their expenses and bills. Whereas another person who's paying rent consistently every month might have to contribute 50%. So it depends on that level. But in terms of savings, I'd say, you want to put anywhere between 25 to 50% of your monthly income or any income you get into your savings. Obviously, your savings can still be used for different aspects, right? You could use your savings for emergencies, for long-term plans or short-term plans. Some people, they use their savings to buy a car. Some people, they use their savings to go on holiday. Obviously, you have to be respectful how you use that money. But also, I'd say set aside money every month to have fun, right? You don't want to be a killjoy, stay at home, just saving money. All you're doing is just watching TV, just smiling at home on your phone. Like, go out, live life, like network, meet people, increase your kind of social network, increase your personality with getting out there. So yeah, obviously don't overdo it. Like, don't be at every dance, don't be at every dinner, don't be all over the place. But you do need to enjoy yourself and your money at the same time. So yeah, definitely divide your income into expenses, savings, fun, and also longer term investment. Investment is key. So when I say investment, a lot of people start thinking straight away, I'm talking about stocks, shares, bonds, all of this stuff. But the best investment is yourself, right?
Yeah.
So like investing your time into educating yourself, like something like reading the Richest Man in Babylon, or investing in your brand. If you've got a YouTube channel, invest your time into that, build into that. Make sure you've got a correct camera that's helping you. Make sure you've got quality videos coming out all the time. If you've got a website, making sure it looks good, it is seamless. If you're a makeup artist, making sure that your talent is there, like any kind of talent or expertise you've got, especially those people that are out there trying to be entrepreneurial and trying to start their own businesses. Investing in yourself is very, very key, time and money. So that would be the last one on the draw.
That's it right there. That's a 5-point plan, mate. You better be listening to that. I don't know, I'm thinking of playing another tune. Just about. What are you saying, Ross? What are you doing for Christmas?
Oh man, I'm just going home to see the family on Christmas. New Year's is another question. I'm trying to work out my New Year's plan still. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah. What are you guys doing for New Year's Eve? You're not doing a big party.
I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it.
I've been snakes. My friends are going to bloody Amsterdam, mate.
No way.
Yeah, they're going to Amsterdam. If I went to Amsterdam for New Year's, I probably wouldn't come back.
You wouldn't come back. Yeah, it's
probably
not the best option.
Yeah. But I'm going out there for Drake's concert, you know.
Yeah, you can choose his concert. When's that? That patterns up in what? Is it March or
No. I think he's got a thing.
it's January.
He's got a thing in Amsterdam in January.
January. No, because I'm going to see him as well. I'm going to see Drizzy in Manchester, Feb 11th. But his London shows start on the 29th of Jan. So it's the end of Jan, yeah. So he must be doing. I know he's doing a Euro leg in terms of he normally goes like Dam. Paris,
I plan to check him out in Dam, so that could actually be amazing.
Yeah, that's always a crazy one.
I've never been to a concert in Amsterdam though.
I was gonna say, I thought you was gonna say you never been to Amsterdam. The way you were smiling.
been down a few times still.
It looks like a red light district.
Hey, I don't walk into them red lights though. You don't know what you find inside them LED lights ain't for me, boy. But like we were saying, we'll speaking about, well, that's a mad digression, fam.
Yeah. I have to show them the different sides, you know.
But yeah, no, we're out here, we're talking about graduate internships and interviews. Have you got any more questions about graduate internships and interviews?
I mean, specifically about graduation, like people leaving university, getting their careers on the right path. I think just more generally, I always like to ask kind of where do you see the graduate job market at now? Because it seems like it just gets harder every single year. More people going to uni, more people vying for the same amount of jobs.
And then less jobs, and then
jobs,
AI is coming about and taking all of their jobs away from them.
That's
so.
it.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So relative to, say, 2009, 10, the graduate market's actually grown in terms of the number of roles available. But then when you think of that, 2009, 10 was just after the recession. So a lot of firms were shedding people like crazy, like people were being made redundant left, right, centre. So there's been a growth since then, but you're right in that aspect. It's still very difficult for these young people to go out there and get that coveted role, put the work in to find an actual place for themselves. But if they do the right preparation and due diligence, then there's still opportunity for them to kind of succeed. But it's just crazy, like, things happen to young people right now in terms of those even going to university. Like, you're expected to pay 9K.
It's going up every year as well.
Going up every year. Expected to pay 9K a year for your degree. You can't get a maintenance grant anymore.
Yeah.
You're expected you're expected to get a full loan of between 5 to 10K for that year. So you're coming out of university with like 60 to 70K of debt, and then you're struggling out here, like fighting against everyone to get a graduate role. So, and in some instances they're paying peanuts, they're not even paying your value. So it is still a very tough kind of outline and kind of market for young people. But as I said, you've got to do the right preparation and be confident in your ability and your skills, and then you will find a role that is for you. And that's not to say as well, like, although this book is all about graduate interviews and internships, and it's an avenue for you to make a career of yourself, as I said, we're all about personal development, reaching your potential. So we're not opposed to people going out there on their own, starting their own businesses, being their own entrepreneurs, being their own bosses. Like, if you've got a vibrant idea and there's a proper business plan in place, not one of those ones where you've got an Instagram page and you're just selling things. I mean, when you've actually got a registered business and you've got a business plan, how you're going to move forward, say a 2, 3, 4, 5 year plan, then yeah, go for it, man. Like, what are you like afraid to lose? What are you scared of? When you're young, that's the best time to do it, right? You've got no kind of key responsibilities. You've got no kind of family that relies on you. No kind of home to take care of. No kids, hopefully.
Baby mama drama, free.
No PM drama.
Same busy fam after you lot's Christmas party.
Yeah, boy, just make sure you're strapping up if you're out here like that, you know. Condoms are free in university at your local sexual health clinics.
Jeez, man, like.
Yeah, but so like if you've got a vibrant idea, still don't kind of be afraid to go down that angle as well. But yeah, boy, young people, man, I'm just hoping the best for them.
That brings me to quite a big question, and don't feel like you've got to answer it a certain way because we're at King's Radio, but do you feel like it's still worth going to university these days as far as from a strictly financial point of view? Because I got my bill the other day of like how much you owe. Something around 50 grand, and I just thought, from an investment point of view, I would have never put 50 grand into anything.
I know.
So, like, when I thought about it like that.
50 grand?
Yeah, man.
How have you got 50 grand?
I don't know. I don't need to go.
It's a very difficult one because I've got a mentee at the moment. He's 16, 17, just started his first year sixth form, and he was contemplating not going to university and doing an apprenticeship scheme. And I think if you know what career and sector you want to go into, if you've done like the background reading and say you want to get into accounting, for example, there's certain industries or engineering, there's certain industries where an apprenticeship actually works out better for you. So there's certain companies like my company, for example, KPMG, they actually offer apprenticeship schemes for people fresh out of sixth form to start 18 years of age, and they can start working straight away and get qualifications at the same time. So in those instances, it's better for you to go straight to work and start earning straight off the bat rather than going to university, put yourself in 50k of debt. But then again, there's certain industries where you do need that university degree. So if you know you're going to those type of industries, then it's still worthwhile in that respect because it's an investment in education in a long-term aim of a career, right? But it's not by force to go to university for the sake of it. There's some people that have talents, and you don't need to go to university to explore and kind of express those talents. So Some people just want to go uni for the hype of it, to be there, to say they went there, or to say, oh yeah, like I was here, I was doing this. No, just stop. Like, do what you need to do for yourself. Don't think about the wider world and society. Do what you need to do for yourself. And I think that's something a lot of people miss out on at any age. Like, they do things for others rather than themselves, and you just got to do that. You got to reflect and think in those situations.
But you know what? I know someone who actually done. He used to work at KPMG. She went to university. She found out she didn't like it, so she dropped out after her first year. Then she applied for KPMG's apprenticeship scheme. She worked there for something like till I finished uni, so something like 3 years, 4 years. Then she moved on to Deloitte, and now that's where she's working. But she did say that she felt, because she did university, that there was a bit of a glass ceiling for her, and that people who did go to university were probably more likely, or first to be looked at for a promotion, for example. So, what do you think about that? Do you feel like
that's interesting to hear? I'd still think like in a firm where they offer apprenticeship schemes and there's a strict kind of process for people to move up, then they should obviously have kind of a clear, clean, level playing field for people to be promoted. So that's interesting she said that. I don't think that's apparent from what I've seen, but it might be for her that she might have thought, okay, if I want to go for certain roles, it's expected I go to university for this, for that. Because the only other kind of benefit, I'd say, of university is the network that you build in terms of the people that you're exposed to in different kind of sectors, careers. Because essentially, in business as well, like a lot of the time when you've got your key kind of client relationships, it's all about people you've met, right? And a lot of these people you meet during your time at university, it may not be in your uni, but it may be at another uni when you visit a friend or you go to an event. So maybe that's why they might say, okay, there's a slight pull to people that went to uni in certain professional sectors. But even if you kind of got that disadvantage against you, it doesn't mean it can't be overcome. So you just got to show a reason as to why you should still be pushed forward or promoted, or why you've still got those kind of key skills and attributes to be the one to move the firm forward.
No, that's true, man. That's true. But working in a corporate place it's definitely hard, man. Like, what do you see yourself working in a corporate sort of setting for the next, I don't know, 20, 30 years?
It's a difficult one, obviously. There's certain aspects of corporate life you enjoy. Obviously, it's Christmas, so the Christmas party is always a big one.
Definitely.
Definitely, that open bar is always a good one.
Cheers.
But then there's other instances in terms of, generally, working in the corporate world, you're going to deal with politics, you're going to deal with kind of the meandering of pleasing people, etc., etc. Whereas you don't have to do that if you own your own company, your own business.
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's a sort of a misconception.
A misconception. No, to an extent where if you have your own business, you still have to kind of please your clients and make sure they're on board and on side to ensure, you've got revenue coming in. But in terms of the layers of that, the bureaucracy in a corporate world, rather than having your own business, they're very different. Because fair enough, if you've got your own business, you've got to please your clients. Like, even if you're a makeup artist, you've got to make sure the people that you're doing the makeup for, they're impressed. If you're a football coach, self-employed football coach, you've got to make sure the people that you're training are happy with your treatment, right? Same for a personal trainer, any kind of other respectable field. Whereas in the corporate world, you have to please your clients, but then you have to please other people internally that you may not need to actually really, doesn't have any kind of direct influence on your role, but you have to please them for political reasons or such forth and so on. So I think there's a difference in that respect. But as I said, I like working in the corporate world at present, but I do have an entrepreneurial flair. That's why we've launched a social enterprise. We want to help and have an impact on the world and society. So that could kind of transform, who knows, in 10, 20 years. I could just go fully fledged and working full time on Capital Moments, with Capital Moments, and trying to see that as a separate business and moving forward. So the world is the oyster, right? We'll see how it pans up in
2017, boy, is the year for greatness, man.
Amen,
I'm quite
boy.
sure.
I receive it, boy. I receive it.
Take it.
Both hands.
But you know what? We might as well. We're getting to the end of our show, innit? I'm gonna let you have the aux cable for the last song. But before then, I'm thinking, do you have any last sort of words to them graduates that are listening, or to them potential graduates who are listening?
Yeah, potential graduates, just make sure you're in university for the right reasons. You're studying hard. You're trying to educate yourself during that experience. And if you are trying to get that internship or get that graduate role, make sure you go and visit capitalmoments.com and get that book, get that ebook, get that guide to push you forward in the future and help you kind of reach your goals. But yeah, that's me signing out. I'm gonna put on a new banger for you.
Jeez, it's an exclusive.
It's not too exclusive. They just released a video recently, but it's a little mixture American and London mixing it together. We got Jeremiah, London, Stefflon Don, Creps and Conan on the verses.
Yeah. Alright, it's been like a boss. It's been a double header. It's me and Ross. We're signing out.
Yes.
Yep. Bye bye.